Hey, good morning. 7 a.m. Sean with Blue Ridge Silver Hound. How you doing this morning? So, the topic for today, because I think it's about time that we had this kind of conversation, this discussion of sorts about modern coin market. All right. As a lot of you know, every single week I do a Monday market report. And it's more of a barometer of how the market changes on a weekly basis. Okay. Furthermore, it also shows kind of like ebbs and flows of what's popular today. One of those things that I get a lot of questions about and a lot of interest is the modern coin market, specifically anything post 1960. All right. So I wanted to do this quick little comparison video, okay, because it'll shed some light, it'll even open some eyes of how slippery of a slope modern coin grading can be, okay, because while the prospect of making tons of money off of newer coins that maybe you find in pocket change or maybe you go through some BU rolls to try and find, okay, is very attractive, okay? You spend 5 cents, you make $5,000. But I have pretty startling news, okay? Here's one such coin right here, this 1964 Lincoln cent, that I think you guys need to really pay attention to, okay? Because at the end of the day, modern coin investing is non-existent, and it shouldn't be treated as a long-term investment, or else, like the buyer of this coin right here, you're going to feel a nice heavy pain in your groin area by the time it's all said and done. And the real question is, because of this, is modern coins going extinct? Yeah. Anyways, come check it out. Thank you. So here's a coin that's sold on Heritage Auctions January 7th, 2016. The timeline for this comparison couldn't be any more perfect. You know, it's only 3 years ago, so not much should change, right? Some would even say that the coin market is pretty similar to what it was 3 years ago. I would venture to guess that the price of silver hasn't changed much either, or gold. So precious metals have kind of stayed at a certain point, but I don't want to get into that kind of discussion on this. So this coin right here, for the longest time, has been the coin in the Memorial Cent series, in which a high-grade coin commands many thousands of dollars. Okay, this coin right here, at the time of the sale in 2016, PCGS graded Mint State 67 full red. At the time, this particular coin here was tied with 2 other coins in the same numerical grade. Okay, so I want you to really keep that on the back of your mind as we kind of go through this story of, you know, what we have to go with here. You know, I can't even think. But the coin sold for an insane amount of money, $7,931.25. Yeah. At the time, this was the big dog. It was a big dog because the 63D in Mint State 67 hadn't existed yet. All right, as we all know, that changed when the first one was graded last year and sold for $13,000. Okay, so that kind of pushed back the 64 a little bit, but it still made it a very special coin. All right. So here's a few close-ups of this particular coin from this listing on Heritage Auctions. As you can see, I mean, you know, it's a 64. Okay, the 64s weren't known for the greatest planchet qualities in vintage history. They just weren't. You could also make that argument for any late 60s coin. All right, it just wasn't fantastic. But the coin, you know, I mean, it could be the images. It could tell a different story if it was sitting in your hand or in front of you under a light. But, you know, it seems like this coin kind of, you know, it has a few marks. The luster isn't nearly as strong as some of the other dates that I've seen of this type. But there you go. That is an $8,000 coin in 2016. As a counterpoint, we're going to look at the same gosh darn coin. Okay, I mean, same grade. It's a different coin because it's got a different certification number, and overall, it's got a different look. And we'll see that right here. So this is another 1964 Lincoln cent. This one sold nearly 3 years later. Okay, so this one sold January 13th, 2019 through Great Collections. Okay, and don't let the fact that one was sold at Heritage and one was sold on Great Collections fool you. Okay, that does not play any sort of role in the market adjustment value of this particular coin. Same deal. PCGS graded Mint State 67 red. All right, it's a beauty. It's obviously going to go on some sort of high-end registry set. That's the ultimate goal in all this, is to stack rank yourself among the highest graded Lincoln cents in Lincoln cent fandom. But get this. Talk about a freaking fall from grace. This one sold for $1,687.50. Sean, where did the other $6,300 go? What happened? That's a great question. That is a tremendous discrepancy in value. All right. Is eye appeal the problem? I mean, take a look at these images here, the close-ups of the obverse and the reverse. I mean, it looks no better than the previous coin that sold on Heritage Auctions. Keep in mind, there are a few other coins of this grade level that have sold since then. Probably half a dozen or so. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So as you can see, I mean, the only thing personally that distracts me about this coin is that little gob of black on the reverse. Okay, it's not a carbon spot. It's actually a little tiny spot of grease that they used on the minting presses, and that's actually a little piece that's stuck onto the reverse. Some would say that it helps with the originality of the coin. I think it just looks horrible. All right, to be absolutely honest. Now, does that play a role in the valuation of this coin compared to the previous? No, because at this level in the game, where you're talking thousands of dollars, okay, it's less about the coin, it's more about the slab. And I know that sounds silly and sick, okay, S&S. Because the age-old adage, okay, when it comes to coin collecting, and even though grading is a new kind of this very progressive thing in numismatics, okay, we have to always keep in mind, you buy the coin, not the slab. You buy the coin, not the plastic. You buy the coin, not the grade. All right, which is why rolls of 1964 Mint State Lincoln cents typically command about $5 in the open market. Okay, they're all not going to look like this. Okay, someone definitely took time to cherry pick these particular two examples here to get a 67 because they knew the insurmountable amount of money that's at stake at this level in the game. So what I really wanted to talk about was, okay, why the sudden discrepancy of $6,300 between 2016 from that Heritage sale and the sale just recently? And keep in mind, Blue Ridge Silverhound's channel has been around long enough that I did talk about the 64 Lincoln cent the moment that it was sold on Heritage Auctions. Okay, if you go back a few years, you will see a video on that. It's probably one of my highest viewed videos because the 1964 has been, for the longest time, the ultimate Mint State 67 red chase piece in the entire Lincoln Memorial cent history. So I just wanted to also get, kind of reiterate that and drive that notion home, because that was the case 3 years ago. So here's an interesting schematic, okay? Of course, this was a screenshot pulled off of PCGS's website. This is the population reports. This is available to anyone that wants to look at it for free. All right, it's a great service they have if you're into kind of like the grading scheme. But if you go on there, you go on Pop Reports, you pull up Lincoln cents of this date, All right. So, do you remember that little piece of information I gave you toward the closer part of this video? Okay, that in 2016 there were 3 graded in 67. They were the finest grades out there. Okay, take a look at this. See the little yellow highlighted area? It's a little bit light, but I I wanted to illustrate this the best that I can. There are 11 examples in Mint State 67 today. A few things you're probably going to question, okay? That still seems like a rather small number, okay? And it is, okay? That is an extremely small number for a Mint State 67. However, there is one other X factor in all this, and you see it right here. See the green shaded area, that highlighted area, that 1 underneath that 11? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There is a 67 plus floating around out there somewhere. Wow. Okay. So, if you haven't put 2 and 2 together, let me go ahead and explain it in the most, in layman's terms. That 167 plus killed the market value of all the 67s, even though there's only 11 pieces in 67. How so, Sean? Well, when you're living in a registry set type of world where everybody's trying to assemble and collect the highest grade coins to bolster their point system and to have the finest Lincoln set, all right, they're going to pay all the money in the world for a 67 plus, okay, and they're going to try hard to grade out another 67 plus. Okay, the 67s in retrospect, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter anymore, but now there's 1 grade point higher floating around out there. Okay, so nobody in their right mind is going to spend $8,000 for this coin in 67. They're just not. Last year, there were a couple examples that sold on great collections for around $4,200. All right, and even then, from then till January, huge plummeting value figures. It dropped to $2,500. So somewhere along the lines, within the last 6 months, a 67 plus was graded. All right, it's never entered the market. It's sitting in someone's registry. I'm willing to bet I do a little research. I'll find out whose registry set that is in. But there you go. That 67 plus is your new $10,000 coin. Okay, and that largely affects the price value of all of the undergraded coins. Okay, not so much undergraded, but all the lower graded coins underneath the top pop coin. There you go. I'm telling you, slippery slope. Modern coin shenanigans and investing of any sort is highly not recommended for this very reason. Think of it today. Hey, you know what? You meet a guy or you meet a gal who is, who is everything in a bag of chips, okay? And then guess what? If you're that type of person that likes to bounce around from one hot thing to another, that's kind of what this market is, okay? And that's the modern coin market in a nutshell. Today, 67 is all the rage. Tomorrow, 67 plus. Yeah, that's going to kill the market value of everything else before, okay? It's not like classic coins where, you buy a coin that's Mint State 65 and it retains its value, if not appreciates, over the course of, decades or years. It's like, and the question I get also is, when does a modern coin become a classic? At this stage in the game, because, the saying life is short, all right? It doesn't make any sense because life is the most longest thing that we'll ever live. In the course of our lifetimes, okay, coins built and designed during the late 1900s, okay, the later stages, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then into the 2000s will still be the modern age of coins. It still will. 100 years from now, people are going to look back and you're like, oh yeah, overproduction city. And those are going to be kind of like the symbols of yesteryear. Whereas, at that point in time, 100 years from now, everything is going to be digital. There's going to be no more physical currency that people are going to be holding around. I might be wrong, but I'm not going to be around 50 or 100 years from now. Well, I might be here 50 years. We'll aim for that. But in the grand scheme of things, yeah, don't put a lot of stock into modern coin investing. And for those of you out there that have coins that want to get them graded, I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is a crapshoot. It is not all that it's cracked up to be. It is more brain damage than what it's worth. You know why? Because I've lived it. I have aspired to try and assemble some of these highest graded coins and tried organically to send them out to the grading companies, knowing full well that their graders, okay, do not set a precedence or a standardization, of the grading process. Okay, one person says the sky is blue, another one says it's purple. Okay, you can't change each other's mind. It's just like that's the human element for you, and that's why it's a crapshoot. That's why I prefer pre-1950 classic coins as an investment vehicle, okay, and as a way for me to make money. All right, gone are the days where I'm going to try and do this anymore. But anyways, I don't want to dwell too much far into it. Hopefully you guys have taken some information, have a lot of takeaways on this particular episode, especially for those of you that want to get into modern coin grading and investing. Again, I don't recommend it, and you shouldn't have to spend and waste your hard-earned money on such a thing, because the market just dips. Okay, the next best thing will kill the market. Thank you for joining. As always, the best way you can support my channel is hit that like button, share and subscribe. This is pretty important stuff, and come check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and